Hey, what's going on, guys? Hear me again, and I have created a hamburger menu using HTML, CSS, and lovely JavaScript. As you see here, the JavaScript is just a little bit. You will understand it even you are not familiar with JavaScript. So keep on watching this tutorial. So here we have our menu, and this menu is really special. Why? Because we put something on it. And here you could see our hamburger menu, which has a nice effect on. If I move my cursor on, you could see that I have a great combination of color in this simple web page. And after that, we do have our menus that also I put some effects on these two. You see that we have this nice line goes under each of these elements, these tabs. But the fun part of it is, which I've done using JavaScript, is that if you click on this hamburger menu, this is going to disappear this menu for you, which is looking really amazing. And you could see that I also put a nice hover, a nice effect on these going and fading and coming this menu, and it's looking really amazing. So let's create it out, but before we start writing codes, you can hit that subscribe button to my channel for more videos just like this one. The first thing that we're going to do is to create an index.html file. So inside this, if you're using Visual Studio, if you just type HTML5, this is going to generate, and press enter on, this is going to generate this template for you. And here I'm going to change its title to hamburger menu. And here I'm gonna create a container, so I'm gonna say dot container, and inside this container we're gonna create a nav, and inside this nav we're gonna give it a class of navbar. And inside this navbar, you notice that we do have two things: our hamburger menu and our elements here. To do so, I'm gonna create a div here, call it hamburger menu. And inside this, we're just gonna create another div, and here we're gonna give it a class of line, and inside this we're gonna path nothing, and we need to duplicate it 3 times. To do so, we're gonna press Shift Alt down, and we have to path nothing inside this. I'm gonna get out of this div, and inside this we're gonna pass our items. So I'm gonna say ul, and we're gonna give it a class of nav item. So inside this nav item we will have our list elements. So I'm gonna say list item, and it's also going to have a class of nav item. So inside this nav item, we're gonna have our a tag, anchor tag, which is going to refer to nowhere. But inside this, we're just gonna have a class also. So I'm gonna say class, and its class is going to be nav link. And inside this, we're just gonna pass home. So now we need to duplicate this. To do so, I'm just gonna copy this and paste it down for a couple of times, 2, 3, and 4. Now we need to change it to about as, or actually contact us, because in the main project it's looking like this, and this is going to be about as, and the last one is how to join us. There's no way to join us for now. So on all of my tutorials, I've mentioned that here I have installed a section called Live Server, and using this you'll be able to run your code directly on a web page and see all the changes you just gonna do on your web page. To do so, I'm gonna right click on on my index.html file. Make sure that you are clicking on HTML index.html file, or wherever you have your HTML file, as it's not going to work if you are clicking on a files, for example on a CSS file. This is not going to work for you. Here we do have an option called Open with Live Server. If I click on, you could see that here our project is running here. So I'm gonna do a little changes here. I'm gonna take this to the side, and also this browser to here, so you guys can see every changes that we're gonna do in our web page. So now Everything is done on the CS and HTML, and now we have to type our HTML. To do so, I'm going to create an style.css file. I'm sorry, we're going to do it's a styling. So, and before anything, you have to make sure that you have installed, you have connected your CSS file with HTML. To do so, I'm gonna go here on a view and view work wrap to you guys can see all the codes here. So here on the top, I'm gonna link it with a style.css file. And for now, to check it, I'm gonna select the body and set its background to red. Yeah, our file is connected now. So, and what we want to do, the first thing we're gonna do is to select everything from the web page. So I'm gonna say everything. To select everything is an asterisk. We're gonna set its margin to 0 and also its padding to 0. And now we're gonna select the body. And in the body, we're just gonna give it a font family, and its font family is going to be this one. And we also have put the word wrap to this one too. So after this, I'm gonna select the container. So I'm gonna say container. For now, you notice that we do not have any hamburger menu. We're gonna do it using HTML, using CSS. So just don't worry. And we're gonna set its width to 100%, and also its height is going to be 100 VH, and its background it's going to be an image which is inside the images. There is a problem, else it's going to propose it for us. Let me see. I always do these mistakes, as I'm creating these files inside the images folder. So I'm gonna get these out. So it's saying asking me this. I'm gonna say move it, and we get an error. We have to run this project again. So I'm gonna right click on and say open with live server. I'm sorry. So after this, I'm gonna go and install style.css. I'm gonna say image, and this is going to propose me this, and we're gonna say background.jpg. Before, I also told that I don't know it's JPEG or JPG. It isn't important. So you see that it's looking bigger. So I'm gonna set its background position to center, and also background size to cover. What the problem is that image background position, sorry, to center. Now be done, and we're gonna go and install our navbar a little more. Navbar, we're gonna give it a width of 300 pixel. We're gonna give it a height of 100 VH or 100%. It doesn't matter, both are going to do the same. And a background of an RGBA color, and this is going to be 19, 19, 19, and its opacity is going to be 0.5. Now if I save it, you could see that here we do have it, but we don't want to be here. We want to be at the right side. To do so, I'm gonna set its position to fixed, and it didn't change. I'm gonna set its top to 0, and if I set its right to 0, it's going to be at the right side. 0. Now we do have it at the right side. I hope that my headphones don't make any noises, because I'm moving my hand and it's moving too. So, and now we have to put these at the center, at the middle of here. To do so, we need the display of, we need the Mr. Flex. Nothing changed because we didn't set its justify content to the center, and also align item to center. Here we do have it. Now it's time to create our hamburger. To do so, I'm gonna go and find its class. What was its class name? Here it is, hamburger menu. I'm lazy, I'm just gonna copy this and bring it in a CSS, put a dot before because it's a class, and now we style it. We're gonna set its width to 35 pixel and its height is going to be 30 pixel. We can't say anything because it hasn't any background. If I give it a background, I'm just gonna give it this background for now so you guys can see it. And it's looking really ugly because its position is static. By default, we're just gonna set its position to fixed. Ta-da! We have it at the top. And I'm gonna give it, it shouldn't be here. So the problem is that we have hamburger menu nav item. I'm gonna give it a top of 50 pixel. And from the right, we're gonna give it 50 pixel too. And now we have it. And also we're gonna set the cursor to the pointer, so whenever we move our cursor on, our cursor wants to be changed to the pointer. And now we want to have those lines here. So to do it, I'm gonna select the lines here. So I'm gonna come here and select the line. I'm gonna say line, and we're gonna give it a width of 100%, but its height is going to be only 3 pixel, not 33 pixel. And we're gonna give it a background to, it could be visible, and its background is going to be a light gray color. I know that giving this light gray or naming the colors is not a good practice, but I just feel too lazy. So we have all of these lines stacked on each other. We want to be we want to put them at the bottom. I mean, order them according to the columns. To do so, again we need the display master display flex, and we're gonna set its display to flex and flex direction to column. Something is in my mouth. Sorry. What's that? So, and this is not going to be visible, else we're gonna set its justify content to the justify content space around. And now you will see that these are looking like these. And now we don't need this background. I just put that here to see what is really going on. Ta-da! We have it like this. And I'm gonna do its hover effect right now. I'm just gonna come after this India. Sorry, India is in my language. Hamburger menu, and whenever we hover on, what's gonna happen online? We're gonna set its background to green. Now if I hover on, you can see that its color changed to green, but we don't want to just change suddenly and make the user annoyed, so we want to give it a transition, and transition is going to take through 0.5 seconds. Now if I move on, it changed the way my voice do. So now it's time to install our list LTMO. To do so, we're gonna select our nav list. If you don't know about the nav list, here we do have, where are you? Nav list. Nav item. We only have nav. This is going to be nav list. Sorry, I misspelled its what it called. its class name. So I'm gonna select the nav list, and inside this we're just gonna set its text align to the right side. You see the notes, you see the changes. If I comment it out, save it, see these are at the left side. But if I comment this, if I save it, you could see it is at the right side. And we want to select the nav list. After the nav list, inside the nav list we have the nav item. So I'm going to say nav item, and these are, each elements are nav item. So list item are the nav, has the nav element, nav item class. So inside this we're just gonna get rid of those dots. So I'm gonna say list style to none, and if I save it, you see that we do not have those, we do not have those dots here, and we want to give it a margin of 25 pixels, and looking good. And after this we have to go directly on the links, because these colors, these actually colors comes from the links. Here we have to find the link. Here we have the link, and the link has the class of nav link. And here I'm gonna select the nav link, and fun part going to occur here. Text decoration to none. You see that we got rid of those underline, and we want to set its font size to 20 pixel, 22 pixel, and also its color is going to be light gray. To be honest, I really put a nice combination of colors in this simple project. You see that it's looking like this. This is not exactly white, it is light gray. And after this we're gonna do nothing. So you see that when I move my cursor, we do have that underline in the main project. I'm gonna go in the main project. Now you can see that we have this underline here. So I'm gonna give it for this one too. To do so, we're gonna use the pseudo classes. So I'm gonna say link, and after that, what is going to happen. So after this, we're gonna just set its content to nothing. I'm really worrying if my headphone is making noise and make you guys annoy. We're gonna set its width to 100%, and also its height is going to be only 2 pixels, and its background is going to be light. Background is going to be light gray. We should have it here. Nav link after. We do not have it because maybe they are somewhere else. And if I just set its position to absolute, position absolute, you will see that they're gonna come. Now we have it here. We set its position to absolute. We need to change its position to this position to relative to a style relatively to its parent. Now if I save it, you see that its width change. Now we want to have it at its own position. From the left it's going to be to 0, and from the right, from the top, we're gonna give it 25 pixels. You see, these are at the bottom. Now we don't want them to be here while we even didn't move our cursor on. We want them to be there when we move our cursor on. So it's time, it is, and that's the reason that we're gonna need our hover effect. So I'm just gonna select this one, and whenever we hover on, we want to set its width to 100. For now, we're gonna set it to 0. This is not going to be here. And whenever we hover on, we're gonna set it to 100%. And also, of course, nothing gonna happen after nav link. I select the nav link. Sorry, we have to select the nav link after. There's a problem. Whenever we hover on, after that, sorry, we have to pass the pseudo class too. So after that, this is going to set its width to 100%. Sorry that I maxed for a while. So now if I move my cursor on, you can see that we do have these underlines here. And we want to give it a transition. So I'm going to say transition 0.5. And we're going to give it the width property because we want to do it on the width. So now if I move my cursor on, you'll see that it didn't change. Transition to 0.5 second. It really annoys me sometimes that I won't put the seconds and takes me 10 minutes, even 30 minutes to fix this. So now if I move my cursor on, you see that we do have this nice effect on. Now, I think that we're done with any of its styling. It's time to do, whenever we click on this hamburger menu, disappear this one, and if I click on this, bring it up again. So to do so, we need to use JavaScript. We can't do it using HTML and CSS. I'm gonna come here and create an, don't be inside the images, close this off. Inside the burger, we're gonna create our script.js. I don't know, but today I feel like I'm so slow. So at the top of this, you have to link our CSS and our JavaScript. So I'm going to say a script. And if you are going to use a script at the top of your web page, this is going to bother you and run JavaScript before HTML. To run it after all the HTML loads, you have to pass the defer property here, and where we want to source it to script.js. Now we're going to go in script.js, and the first thing I'm going to do is to create a variable. I hope that you guys be familiar with JavaScript. So now we're going to select we want to have access to the query, so I'm going to say query selector, and our query selector, our query is sorry. Go view, and from the view select the word wrap. It's going to be hamburger menu. Now we have completely access to this hamburger menu because we gave it this class here. And after this, we also need to have access to the navbar. So I'm going to create another tag and call another variable, call it navbar, and assign it to document dot query selector, and it's going to be the navbar class. For now, we have not done anything special, but we want to do it now. So I'm going to say menu icon, and we want to add an event listener. An event listener is going to listen to an event. For example, it's going to listen to a click event. Whenever I click on here, it's going to do something for us. So I'm just gonna say click. Every time you click on this hamburger menu, what we want to do is to run a function. You can pass a regular function here or an arrow function. I don't want to explain the arrow difference between the arrow and regular function here because this is not a JavaScript tutorial. And after this, before I do anything here, I'm gonna go here and then a navbar. I will find a navbar. you see that from the right it is 0. If I set its right to, for example, 300 pixel, you will see that we do minus, actually minus 300 pixel. It doesn't matter. You see that we do not have this. What we want to do is to put a class that toggle between that class, and this whenever we click on it bring it up, and if we click on again, it's disappeared. Yeah, disappeared. I don't know, I didn't find any alternative for. So I'm gonna create here a class for, by default we're gonna set it to 0 or to 300 pixel. I'm sorry, to 0 pixel. So after this, I'm gonna create a class and call it display, and we're gonna set it to its right to 300 pixel. Now if I come here and the HTML and set that display class to this one, so I'm gonna say display, and if I save it, you will, damn it, I should pass minus 300 pixel. Now you could see that we do not have it, but we want to add this using JavaScript, because all the time we don't want this to be here. So I'm gonna get rid of this and go here in the JavaScript, and we want to add that class to the navbar. To do so, I'm gonna say navbar. What we want to do with a navbar, we need its class list. So what you want to do with a class list, we want to, every time we toggle on, we want to add a class. So what is that class? Is display. So what's the toggle? A toggle is, if you click on this button, it's going to be, clicking and unclicking, click, all of these are going to be the toggle. I don't know how to explain it well. So now we add, whenever we toggle on or whenever we click on, it's going to add this display class here. This toggle class, add and remove this class. If you don't pass this, you have to put two fractions here and put one of them to add and remove. But the easiest way is use to the fraction, the total fraction. So now if I save it and go here and click on a hamburger menu, you see that it fade away. But if I click on again, it's going to bring it up. So you see that it's moving really fast. Again, we're gonna come here and give it a transition. It's going to be 0.5 seconds. Now if I click on fade away and bring it up, fade away and bring it up, but it's looking ugly, so I'm just gonna cut it from here and put it on the navbar, and things will get right. Now if I click on go away and bring it up, go away and bring it up. So this was from our tutorial, and I know that I make tutorials long, but it's just the reason is just to explain things well. So if you have any question, you can ask me about you can ask me in the comment down below. Else take care of yourself, and if it's possible, stay home because there's coronavirus. Bye.